Alright, everybody, welcome back to another exciting year of fantasy football. Oh, it's been a long 7 months waiting for more football, and we're just a few weeks away from live action. Can't wait. So, for this video, wanted to reveal the keepers. Now, if you go to everybody's team page on our league website, you can see the 2 players being kept. And if you click on the free agent list, you can see everybody available for this week's all-important draft on Saturday. Start getting ready for that. But, I want to reveal the keepers in video form as well. That's my favorite. It's more fun to do it in a video. And we can also do a little analysis, talk about the draft. Let's get underway. Now, for this year, it's very exciting for the commish and his videos because I finally discovered Windows Movie Maker. And that means I don't have to cut out sheets of paper like a big dope where I'm at my office illegally printing off fantasy football sheets of paper with everybody's team and my little analysis cards. Now I can just add it in with this fun software program. It's amazing. So the videos are gonna be legit this year. Get ready. Because I can add text anytime I want, right here. And I can throw in maybe a picture. E-A-T-L-E-S, Eagles! I could throw in maybe a video.
Brian Dawkins, safety blitz, he's done it his whole career. Chris Clemens, the big man, Clarence Clemens. Rosalita, jump a little higher, he's gone, 34-3 Eagles.
So the possibilities are endless. And I can also hit the pause button, go make myself a little iced coffee, and then come back to the video. It's amazing. Last year, I had to do all the videos in one take because of the stupid YouTube webcam capture website I would use. Now I can do whatever I want. It's fantastic. Alright, without further ado, let's get to those keepers, what this video is really all about. And we'll reveal the keepers by team in order of the draft for Saturday. So first up is Mr. Pat Jordan, who finished the year last year 2-12, a pretty rough season. But for the last 2 or 3 games of the season, decided to bench all his players and intentionally lose.
Hello? You play to win the game.
And also, I guess, gives him an out. So then when we say, hey, nice season, idiot, he can be like, I meant to lose. I wanted the #1 pick. But we have Pat Jordan up first. And his 2 keepers are an 8th round Antonio Brown, very good keeper, and a 9th round Jordy Nelson, also a very good keeper. But his keepers last year we got 3 keepers: wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. This year, his 2 keepers: wide receiver, wide receiver. So we might not be learning from our mistakes over there, Pat Jordan. Maybe throw a running back in every now and then. I think your tandem of Doug Martin and Joik Bell or something did not pan out last year. All right, our number 2 pick in the draft is a new addition to the league. Welcome, Mr. Stephen Cole, to the league. He is replacing, as many of you know, Harrison Thrift. I don't know how the league will go on without him, to be honest, but hopefully we can all make it somehow. All right, so his first keeper is a 17th round running back in Jeremy Hill. Could be quite a steal. He got him in a trade his second day in the league with the commish. So we'll see what happens there. I might regret that. And his second keeper is a 6th round Rob Gronkowski.
Yo, The whole Gronkowski family is inviting you to get hyped with us next year on our very own party cruise.
The Gronk is just on another planet when it comes to tight ends, and he's pretty hilarious. So Cole's got some good keepers there, and he's got the number 2 pick in the draft, so he might turn that Harrison Thrift dud of a team into a powerhouse. Watch out for Stephen Cole, team on the rise. All right, our number 3 team in the draft is Mr. Mike Melson, who is keeping a 9th round running back in Lamar Miller and a 6th round wide receiver in Emmanuel Sanders. Nothing flashy there, no superstars, nothing that makes you say, oh wow, watch out. But some solid building blocks. There's some value there. And for those of you who might have forgotten, his keepers last year were, I believe, double Eagles. Usually a good strategy. Usually very good. But LaShawn McCoy, down year, and Riley Cooper, who, yeah, that was never going to work out. And, yeah, this year decided to expand his horizons and look beyond the Eagles roster. So maybe that can pay off for him. We'll see. All right, next up, our number 4 team in the draft is a Mr. Shane McNamee, with his first keeper being a 17th round Odell Beckham Jr. That's a good keeper. That's a good keeper for a long time. We all know Odell's highlight reel. It's not bad. But his second keeper does not have a highlight reel. Keenan Allen, who is kind of a mediocre wide receiver. We'll see how that plays out. But he is the 16th round pick, so not too much risk there. He's keeping some late value, but also going double wide receiver with Odell and Keenan. All right, next up at number 5, we have Mr. Stephen Griffith, who is keeping Carlos Hyde, a 10th round running back, and he acquired him also in a trade with the Commish. Commish is wheeling and dealing over here. So he's got Carlos Hyde, who is a starter now for the 49ers, so that could pay off big if he produces as the starter. And a 2nd round Dez Bryant, who he's a great wide receiver. He's very talented, but can we really trust who's throwing the ball to him?
Meanwhile, here's Gramatica. Romo holds. 19-yard field goal attempt. Oh, it is fumbled by Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone, and he's going to get tackled.
And that was really just an excuse to put in a video of Romo fumbling around like an idiot. I can't get enough of that video. So we'll see. He went with his heart, with keeping a Cowboy in Dez and also Carlos Hyde. All right, at number 6, the best of the non-playoff teams, we have Mr. Drew Melson. And he is keeping a 12th round DeAndre Hopkins and a 5th round T.Y. Hilton. 2 very good wide receivers. DeAndre Hopkins, you got some good value there as a 12th rounder, and he is clearly the Texans' number 1 wide receiver, although he has terrible quarterbacks throwing to him. And 5th round T.Y. Hilton. Now, this is the 3rd team that's doing the double wide receiver strategy.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Makes it tough when you get to the draft, though, because with those early picks, you know, you might see a stud wide receiver on the board, but you're gonna have to load up on running backs and quarterbacks at the draft. So anyway, yeah, 2 good keepers though, 2 solid values. So at number 7 here, I guess the 3rd runner-up last year, we have John Fitzsimmons, and he is keeping DeMarco Murray in the 5th round, and you can't go wrong with the guy toting the rock for the birds.
E-A-T-L-E-S, Eagles!
And you have Travis Kelce, kind of a surprise keeper for him, but he's got some good value because tight end is kind of thin this year, and Kelce, he's young, he's good, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, DeMarco in the 5th. That's a good running back and still some pretty good value. So, yeah, 2 good keepers. All right, number 8, we have Mr. John Fonecker, who was our 2nd runner-up last year. And his first keeper is C.J. Anderson. That was one heck of a waiver wire pickup towards the end of the year, who came in out of nowhere to be the best running back of the Broncos. And man, great offense, tons of scoring. You got this guy at the helm. Doesn't hurt. But his second keeper, Alshon Jeffrey, has this guy at the helm. And with that smirking a-hole, I don't know if the Bears are going to be putting up tons of points. They're going to be struggling probably. They already lost their number 2 wide receiver for a big chunk of the season. So they really got Alshon and Forte and nothing else on offense. So yeah, the value is there though. You got a 15th rounder in Alshon and a 17th rounder free agent pickup in C.J. Anderson. So man, there's not much risk there for John and 2 solid players. All right, at number 9, we have the runner-up last year, Mr. Ben Weeks. And he went with a very interesting strategy, something nobody else did. He just said, screw it, I'm keeping my 2 best players. I don't care what round they're in. I don't care if I have to give up my early picks. I'm keeping my studs. So his first 2 picks in the draft are gone. But he starts off his team with Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson. So that's a pretty good duo. Now, when I was looking for videos or picks to put in with my analysis, man, just YouTube Marshawn Lynch, and you'll just spend an hour watching Lynch videos. You can't help it because this guy is just absurd. There's so much good stuff. Here's just a little sample.
Marshawn, what about you? What do you like to play?
Mario Kart.
What do you like about Mario Kart?
Toad. And I like driving.
You like driving?
Yeah.
And you like to drive as Toad?
Yeah.
And that's you driving?
Yeah.
You're pretty intense.
That's how Toad do.
But yeah, and with Marshawn, he's gonna rumble. He's gonna score. You know he's solid. With Adrian Peterson, we'll see what happens. I feel like he could either go berserk because he's just angry at the world after a season last year, or maybe that messed with him. Maybe he's not right in the head. I don't know. But he's hoping for a full season without any jail time. So Ben Weeks going with those 2 studs with his first 2 keepers. All right, and finally, the number 10 pick in the draft is the commish. And my 2 keepers are first a 12th round Le'Veon Bell, who I very much enjoyed having last year. Now he's going to miss a couple games due to his occasional usage of illegal substances, but that won't stop him later in the season. He'll just be even fresher, and those legs will be ready to go after he takes a little break in the beginning of the season. And then my second keeper is Russell Wilson.
He's a quality, classy quarterback.
I wanted to keep this guy. He is I think he's getting to another level now. His running game was on fire last year. And now hopefully with the addition of Jimmy Graham, he can throw for even more. So we'll see what happens with Russell, but he is a 7th rounder and some pretty good value there. All right, so that does it. Those are your 20 keepers for our league. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the draft. So that'll be this Saturday night. I cannot wait. So the draft is being hosted at the same location as last year, One Sandy Beach Court, but this year it's being hosted by Mr. Pat Jordan. So same home, just different homeowner. And yeah, people can start coming over as early as 1 p.m., he said, for some cornhole, some beer, some football chatter before the official draft begins. I know I plan on heading over there definitely early in the afternoon to hang out and get ready for the draft. So the draft itself, we're starting at 8 p.m. Hopefully everyone can make it in person. If you can't, we're planning on just Skyping you in, basically, because we still plan on having the big board on the wall, the stickers. It's fun to draft that way. And if you're not there to physically do it in person, we'll just point the computer screen at the big board. You'll just kind of have to manually take note of who's being picked and do the draft that way. It's not ideal, but it can definitely work. And so this year, another little change, a little tweak, is that we'll do a time limit on the picks of a few minutes. We were thinking a 3-minute time limit on the picks. That was definitely not a problem last year in the early rounds. Everyone seemed prepared for the early rounds. But the later rounds, picks were taking forever. And I think part of that was like while picks were going on, people were like trying to research, through their football magazines, like, oh, who is this guy? We also had an insane neighbor running around the house that also made it take a little longer towards the end of the draft. But yeah, time limit will make it run a little bit more smoothly, so we'll just kind of keep that going during the draft. Another thing is on draft night, we'll just get out a hat, some sheets of paper, and redraw divisions. I was looking at the schedule, and it stays the same if you don't kind of mix up the divisions. In order to keep it fresh, kind of change when you play different teams throughout the year, and make the matchups more interesting, I think it'd be good to repick divisions and change it up. So I figured we could do that on draft night and just randomly pull out of a hat. Piece of cake. All right, so a little homework for this week. If you're going to change your team name or your logo, try to do it this week so that when I get the big board in the mail in a couple days, I can put you on the big board and it be as accurate and up to date as possible. Another thing is, sadly this year I didn't get the big board for free like I had in the past. So you had to go on Amazon and get one. So we'll just all split it up. So you know how normally it's $50 a person for the league entry fee to split up for the winners and make it more interesting. Everyone just put in $54, and those few extra bucks will cover the cost of the draft big board. So yeah, just bring that with you on the draft night, cash your check, and we'll make it work. No big deal. Yeah, and then last thing I guess is just prepare for the draft, and put in that preparation, because that'll help big time when you're making those picks on Saturday. So just remember these words from the babbling and somewhat incoherent Lou Holtz.
Pressure is when you have to do something you aren't prepared to do. If you've got to make a 4-foot putt or take a test and you haven't prepared, you're scared, you're nervous, you think of failure. But if you've prepared, you want to be there to show people how good you are.
Hopefully that gets you motivated and ready for the draft. I'm pumped up. So I'm looking forward to it. See you guys on Saturday night, and we will have another awesome fantasy football year.